The name of the anime I'll be talking about in this video might turn some people away, thinking that it's not anything worth their while. If you're one of those people, stick around. I think you might just enjoy this one. The anime in question this week is a seasonal one, and revolves around the theme of jellyfish. Believe it or not, Yoru no Kurage wa Oyogenai, or jellyfish can't swim in the night. As someone who has established themselves as a content creator, when I tell you this anime hits like no other, I mean it, and for good reason. The anime revolves around a former idol, a high school girl who has given up on art, a VTuber, and a girl who was bullied for her hair color without a place to belong. As they traverse their dwindling time in high school, they're left to wonder where life will go. There's college entrance exams, jobs, etc. to worry about. But after an eye-opening encounter with Kano, the former idol, Mahiru decides to band together to form the group Jelly. It's an anime about a group of misfits struggling to find their place in the world, and a meaningful one at that. There's a reason why I feel having jellyfish as a central motif is working though, and certainly why I like it. Before that, I've been reading and replying to most of your comments. It's amazing to see so many of you enjoy my content and the takes I give. Analytics have been off the charts, and the subscriber count on the channel is nearing 1,000. I'll have to begin preparations for channel memberships before too long. Gotta get those watch hours first though. Last but not least, the Discord I've been teasing in the video description for the last couple years is live, and if you'd like to join it, there will be a link near the top of the description. Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is an anime I wasn't expecting to have such an impact this season. Even I kind of blew it off at first because of the name. Don't make my same mistake. I'm still going to structure this video into the 3 main parts as I have the last few videos. The first thing I want to focus on will be the name itself and why it works for the anime. The second will be its relatability to modern youth. The third will be the internal struggles faced by the characters and how these struggles mirror probably most of us today. This shouldn't be a 15-16 minute video for the sake of my sanity, let's hope it's not. When Mahiru meets Kano for the first time, Kano explains she's operating under a self-made label, Jelly. Although it's misspelled, it's meant to be a reference to jellyfish. The first episode takes place at night in the city of Shibuya, Japan, a popular entertainment and tourist destination, and follows the likes of Mahiru and Kano, but more so Mahiru and how she chooses to navigate the city in the nighttime hours, struggling to figure out what she wants to do with her life. Think about how she just kind of wanders around until she meets Kano, also similarly adrift. The title of the anime is a metaphor for not just Mahiru and Kano, but Jelly as a whole. Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is a unique title, but it's not technically correct. Jellyfish don't exactly swim, they drift, using ocean currents and the motion of water itself to get from place to place. While there are some species of jellyfish that are nocturnal and exhibit nocturnal behavior, most of the time you'll see them during the day. However, just like us, they're always out there in the ocean, drifting along until they finally reach their destination. This is an excellent metaphor, as it not only represents the mysterious depths of the ocean jellyfish reside in, it makes subtle references to modern day and the way we also kind of just drift. This is why I like the title. You have 4 totally unique characters who really have nothing to do with each other, yet they all end up together, illuminating each other's worlds. Episode 1 starts off by explaining the way jellyfish get their light, from sources around them. Metaphorically, this is what catapults Mahiru into Kano's life, the light that Kano gives off. Not only does she use a self-made name, one that isn't her actual legal name, she's already producing her own music and making a name for herself on the internet. Her real name is Nodoka Tachibana, but you can see where she got the name Kano from. Understanding why she chose to use a name other than her own is a little more complex and not something I want to go over in detail in this section. That'll be part 3, but it's essentially a mixture of having that fresh start under a new name no one knows yet and cutting out a past she wants to move on from. The name of the anime makes a lot of sense when you realize the anime itself is about influencers, or content creators, depending on who you ask. It perfectly showcases the clash between what is expected of you and what you're expecting of yourself. Jelly finds themselves passionate about something that has the potential to be an incredibly lucrative and influential career if done right. Of course, the idol and indie band industry has more going for it in Japan than it does back west in the States and Europe, but it's important to note that success is not an overnight thing. Kiwi, who will be a focus in part 3 of this video, is a VTuber and ends up lending her skills to Jelly, but the modern day representation of this is laid out in black and white. If you're an anime fan or you like watching VTubers, you're already well aware of the music videos they make and agencies they're probably signed to. You'll have single image portraits or a series of images that use scaling, position keyframes, opacity layers, and more just to make a single 3 or 4 minute music video seem unique. Alongside the creative typographic lyrics, a single image, if done correctly, can be all a video needs to make it stand out. Now, if you're aware of Suisei, Hoshimachi Suisei, her music videos are usually her full VTuber model placed in an artificial environment, which is also something VTubers do with their music videos, though not many. In this sense, if you know her backstory, she's a really good example of the kinds of people this anime appeals to and portrays. If you're not familiar, go watch this video. I was honestly moved. While the title of the anime can be attributed to many different subsets of life alongside the metaphor it presents, it also does a great job of appealing to you, to people like us. Why? First of all, we're what you might call nerd culture. Specifically, otaku culture. We like nerdy and otaku-like things, simple as that. The anime portrays artists, idols, songwriters, VTubers, you name it. All eclectic and unique hobbies and passions. The idol industry in Japan and South Korea is massive. You have entire fan meetups and merch signing events unlike any kind of concert or show held in the West. Not only that, there are entire businesses and corporations focused solely on these individuals and groups. Remember all the Nichi-Sanji drama from earlier this year? If you're aware of the Selentazzi situation as well, then you're in good company. You're a select group of people the anime is targeting. I'm also trying to target this audience, so and it does this quite effectively. Likewise, these are all things attributed to the aforementioned cultures I described. VTubers really began to pick up steam around 2020, but they'd been around to some degree for a bit beforehand. Recall how Kizuna AI made waves on YouTube and in the anime industry when she first debuted. While she's pretty much fallen off in terms of popularity at this point, she paved the way for the VTubers we watch today. The next reason this anime appeals to a young and modern audience, keep in mind I'm talking about a wide age range here from probably about 15 or 16 to the mid to late 30s, is simply for the musical aspect of it. Kano is a former idol turned solo artist and wants to write her own songs, not just make covers. Mei writes sheet music and can play the piano, Kiwi is a VTuber, and Mahiro is a digital artist. These are all hobbies and, in some cases, careers that specifically target our age demographic. Earlier, I mentioned Suisei and her music. Personally, my favorites are Stellar, and Ghost. But there are so many others like her out there. I love Suisei, but in terms of music, Kyo Hanabasumi is my current fave with songs like Starry and Daisy. I bet you've seen this music video. You even have a literal AI VTubers such as Neurosama, an entirely artificial program created by Beetle, commonly seen in streams and highlights as a turtle. Who makes all of the art we see and the models the VTubers use, though? Digital artists. People like Mahiro. While she's not the perfect example, the idea is to make the reference to those kinds of people. People who rig the models, animators, graphic designers, coders, all subsets of this anime's targeted audience. Last but not least, you have the darker side of the anime. Let's call it the reality of the world. Now, let me be clear, just because I may say something is the reality of the situation or reality of something else does not mean I'm saying give in to the status quo. I fight tooth and nail to make what I'm doing now something that can support me in the future, but the reality of that situation is, it doesn't support me financially right now. It's a hobby and one that I take very seriously. This channel is the culmination of passions, desires, and skills, and that is my reality. Unfortunately, we use the word reality with negative connotation most of the time because, honestly, reality sucks. That's the reality of reality. Real talk. Jellyfish Can't Swim the Night pits the 4 main characters against the world itself, having access to the internet at their fingertips, but that isn't always good. When I mentioned Kano and her status as a former idol, due to an altercation with another member, she was forced to leave her agency, change her look, and use another name if she wanted to continue to pursue her passions. In episode 2, we see her explain that she's not really all that fond of the other idols in the group, yet it's because she was with that group she was able to inspire a totally random stranger. While there's going to be bad everywhere you go, you have to see the good in things too. Kiwi, the VTuber, was always the odd one out, full of energy, into nerdy stuff and passionate about her goals. This set her apart from everyone else. As a child, it didn't have as much of an impact. The isolation and inability to match with other girls or make friends besides Mahiru. As she got older, the reality set in that that's a lonely world for someone who's treated differently than everyone else. No one to reciprocate her interest or be a friend. VTubing made that world possible, and is why she stopped attending school. She also makes a stable income with her super chat, people who donate money and live streams. But this didn't change the fact that it was hard for her to fit in anywhere else. Not everyone makes it on the internet, and not everyone who makes it sticks with what made them popular in the first place. If you're a gamer, you're likely aware of Vanoss, a gaming YouTuber with nearly 26 million subscribers. He became popular during Call of Duty's golden years and the onset of GTA 5 alongside Gary's mod, Gmod. These days, it's mostly just indie games that rarely break 1 million views apiece compared to his prime. What Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night does, however, is provide that ray of hope. Imagine starting something brand new that you hope people will enjoy. You're passionate about it and want other people to enjoy what you're doing. As you watch your following grow, it brings you happiness and inspires you to continually improve. This is Jelly, but in the very early stages. Things like this happen every day though, and that is the magic of this anime. I really could go on and provide even more examples of the things I've talked about, but I think you get the idea. This anime is unique in the sense that it's trying to create a real-world scenario that happens every day. I made this channel back in 2018 and started by uploading lackluster commentaries on Call of Duty news and events alongside some Pokemon stuff. Needless to say, that wasn't what I was most passionate about. This anime is kind of the same way, but in a good way. It purposefully tries to target our age demographic because we are the ones that have to set the pace for the future, and the future of the internet. From idol agencies to influencers to literally everything in between, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is an anime made for that. Made for us. Made for you. Episode 4 is scheduled to air this Saturday, April 27th, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully now you are too. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far and aren't subscribed, why not subscribe? See you later.